it's Kelly, and it's the first day of Paige's 20 Days of Stitching cut files, and I'm going to be using two of Paige's files put together to make this layout that you saw at her Happy Scrappy place this morning. And I'm going to show you how I went about that in the Silhouette Studio. So I've opened this cut file, it's 329297 in the Silhouette Design Store. And if you sent it to cut, you'd see that you'd get an outline and you'd paperback it or however you like to do your layouts. But I just want to use the inside lettering. And so I'm going to release the compound path and drag away the outside line and the bits from between the letters, so I have just the letters left to work with. And we'll just erase that as we won't be using it, and I missed a piece there. We'll erase that too. So now you've got some letters that would fit inside the stitching cut file, and I'll just do a copy paste, Command C, Command V, and bring it over to my stitching file. But as you can see, we'll zoom in here. The letters are quite tight to the stitching line. So I'm going to show you how I went about making the letters narrower so that when I did my stitching, they laid inside of that and didn't overlap any of the stitching. So this stitching cut file is an exclusive in the bundle and available only in the bundle. You get 20 stitching cut files for $20. So what a good value that is. So I'm back to the letters here, and I've done an internal offset, and I'll drag away the original letters and leave just the narrower ones on the mat. I'm going to group them all together and color them so you can see them a little more easily. So as you can see, the new letters are narrower than the original offset, and these are going to fit inside your stitching. So let's grab those narrower letters and copy them back to the mat where you have the stitching cut file. And when you move them over top, you'll see now that you have a lot of nice room between the letters and the stitching that you're going to do. I cut everything out of Truly Grateful, another beautiful fall collection from Paige, and I love the colors and the patterns. They're so vibrant. There's lots of leaves and flowers and little forest characters. So that's what I chose to finish off this layout. So I'm just going to move my new narrower. Is that a word, narrower? It is today. I'm just going to move them all in place so you can see how well they fit. And I've placed my photos where you see the letter O. And I'm going to show you how I modified the letter O to accommodate my photos and cut my photos right in Silhouette Design Studio. So using the letter O, I'm going to make an offset of it at 0.10. And so open that utility box and using the arrow, move it down to 0.10. And if I move the pink letter O, you'll see there's a slightly larger letter O that comes right to the stitching. And so I'm actually going to cut the pattern paper from the blue letter O, and now the pink letter O is what I'm going to use to cut my photo. I'm going to change the colors here just so it's not confusing when I go to use the file, because I'm going to save this in my library, and every time I want to use this cut file, I'll still have the letters and be ready to cut those from my chosen pattern paper. I'll give it a unique name. I'll just add some information to Paige's title. For instance, PE 01 you've got this Kelly's layout, something of that nature, so it doesn't overwrite the original cut file in the library. So let's take our cut files for the photos onto a new mat and open our photos here. I'm just going to pick them off my desktop, and it'll open it on a brand new mat as well. So I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller and do a copy paste over to where we have our photo cut file. And I'm going to turn on the grid because when I print the photos at my printer and bring them back to cut on the mat, I like to place the photos back at one row over and one row down. So I'm going to bring the photo cut file to the front so that I can see my photo underneath. Now it needs to be quite a bit smaller, and you want to use the corner arrows so you don't manipulate the look of your photo. And you want to be careful not to change the size of the cut file that we made from the letter O, because you still want that to fit in the letter O. So be certain just to change the size of your photo. So once you have everything right size, print your photos that size in your photo software, bring it back to the mat, place it one row over, one row down, and send it to cut. I want to thank you so much for being here. Thanks for having me on your team, Paige, and make sure you check out the cut file bundle at her website. See you soon. Bye-bye.